Hi,
Hi, everybody.
it's
Kia ora.
us again. Kia ora. So I hope this finds you all well. And today we want to tell you about the COVID timeline so far here in New Zealand. And
Our different levels of COVID.
COVID alert levels, exactly. Yes. So we're the Digital HouseSitters. I'm Sandra.
Stefan.
And we want to tell you things about New Zealand and about the COVID and all these things while we are here traveling and having our house sits here. And at the moment we're in Tauranga where we lived for the last 11 years, actually.
Yeah, in the Great Bay of Plenty.
Yes, in the beautiful Bay of Plenty. And if you like what you see, then like our channel or like our page.
Thank you.
So that other people can find us too. That would be awesome.
Yes.
Okay, good. So where do we start?
We start timing.
With the first case.
With the first case here in New Zealand and how it began.
Yes. So on the 28th of February, we had our first case in New Zealand. It was an incoming traveler.
Incoming, yeah.
And it started evolving and it went on. And then on the 16th of March, self-isolation for incoming people became compulsory.
Yeah.
But they were allowed to self-isolate at home if they had a plan.
So they got asked, do you have a plan? And everybody said, yes, I have a plan. Okay, sweet.
As it is in New Zealand. We believe people.
Should be
right. And we believe people when they say something. That's just how it is. Good. And then within 3 days, they realized it's not working because we had actually cases of tourists and locals who said they had a plan and they didn't. And they told everybody, no, we don't care. We just travel around in our camper van or whatever. So 3 days later, on the 19th of March,
yes,
they closed the borders.
Which is sort of easy in New Zealand.
Yes, because we're an island.
We have that's it. We have a few overseas airports like Auckland, Wellington, Christchurch, done.
Yeah. And if you hear any noise around us, that's a typical Sunday here in New Zealand. Everybody's in their garden doing
working
stuff and things. But the mowing is already behind us, so that's all fine. And the interesting thing is, so on the 19th of March, all borders were closed.
Yeah.
And on the 21st of March, just 2 days later, there was the announcement they were going into level 3. So now I want to tell you what are the levels. So level 1 is called prepare, and that is when the disease is contained in New Zealand. That's where we want to be. Level 2 is the disease is contained, but the risk of community transmission remains. So community transmission, not just coming in from the border. And level 3 is called restrict. And there's a high risk that the disease is not contained.
Yeah.
So on the 23rd, just 2 days after we went into level 2, we went into level 3.
Into level 3. As the big preparation before the big level 4.
And they announced already on the 23rd that we're going into level 4 on the 25th, into lockdown. That means general lockdown for all New Zealand so that's level 4, because it's very likely that the disease is not contained.
Yeah.
And at that time, they were looking at the trajectory of Spain and Italy, and said, and I remember Jacinda Ardern saying, Spain and Italy also at one stage had only 4 cases. So it's going hard and going early was what she always said. So that was really interesting. So we all had 2 days to prepare for lockdown.
And we had the same stuff as everywhere in the world. So everybody's buying
pasta,
toilet paper and stuff. So
all these things. So 2 days of quite madness. And the thing is that we were quite lucky because I kind of anticipated that we're going into lockdown. So we did most of our shopping already before the announcement because we knew that there was an announcement. And I kind of anticipated. So on the Monday morning, I said, we're going shopping now. And he said, oh, no, we have time. I said, no, we're going now.
Yeah, I'm the more relaxed sort of Kiwi guy.
Lucky we did that.
Yeah.
So we went into general lockdown on the Wednesday to Thursday. 25th of March.
So on the night of the 25th to 26th. So we had this big announcement. We had this sort of famous Facebook video,
Oh, yes.
Facebook Live from Jacinda Ardern, who is our Prime Minister, and in, I don't know,
in a totally normal sweatshirt after she brought her baby to bed, and just telling us again what she thinks and how she feels about it, that she's concerned too, and this is what we're doing, and this is how we're doing this. And it was, I think, at 8:30 or something at night, and I just by chance stumbled over it on Facebook, and she was just sitting here in her normal sweatshirt, and just, you could see that she's a bit tired, but took the time to tell us again what she thinks. And, you know, apart from the everyday 1 p.m. press conference that she did, and here we're coming to one of the points that you love so much, is the
communication aspect here in New Zealand. So we had daily press conferences with the Prime Minister and
Director of Health, General Director of Health.
General Director of Health.
Dr. Ashley Bloomfield.
So perfect team.
Yes.
So you have the in communications trained Prime Minister, and you have a very left-brained health director who is doing his thing and is thinking very scientific.
Yeah.
And perfect couple, in my opinion. So the journalist
business couple,
not real couple.
No. And I just want to show you. So this is the pamphlet where that explains, and we're going to give you the link for that. That one is normally yellow, but we ran a little bit out of ink. But so we're going to give you the link to that pamphlet if you want to read what the levels are about down in the notes. You can read it there. Also, I think the timeline, you want to put that into the notes too?
Yes.
So you're going to find that in the notes anyway. Well, and then so 25th of March, we went into lockdown.
Yeah, into a full lockdown with everybody at home, everybody working from home. So I still working for the council, for the city council here, and we brought around 1,000 people online working from home in a week, which isn't really, which was a big thing for us, definitely, to get the bandwidth and everything, that the whole council is working like before. And during lockdown, everybody worked from home with absolutely no problems.
And only the supermarkets were open. So for the time being, there were no butcheries, I think some, at the beginning, there was quite a bit of confusion, but mostly there were only supermarkets were open, and chemist shops, pharmacies, doctors, of course, hospital, police, but no other shops were allowed open. No cafes, no restaurants, no nothing. Everything was closed.
Yeah,
and you could only stay in where you lived. So you were only allowed, you could go out and walk anytime you wanted. We were so laughing because we never saw so many people walking their dogs, and we were joking about the dog saying, no, not again.
The first time today.
And you were supposed to use the car only if you're an essential worker going to work, to the supermarket, or to a pharmacy or a doctor. So there was next to no traffic from one day to the next. And we were at that time right in the middle of Tauranga in the CBD. And it was amazing, the silence suddenly. It was just incredible, no traffic. It was unbelievable. It was so different.
That was cool.
Well, and then the next big thing was when they started
the managed isolation,
managed quarantine,
people still coming in, so that the borders were closed.
That was on the 10th of April.
Yeah, so the borders were closed, but for New Zealanders and for residents.
Yeah, residents and citizens were allowed to come back. Everybody else wasn't allowed to come in. No tourists, no work visas, only on special exemption. So work visa holders who were really essential workers, they were allowed back in. And so, that was then from the 10th of April. And then on the 27th of April, we went back to level 3. So still high risk, the disease is not contained, but restaurants, takeaway was allowed.
Takeaway from restaurants.
Yes, and cafes, they were allowed takeaways. And what was more and more allowed was click and collect. So you could, because we went into winter, and people needed some winter gear and some heaters and stuff. So some of the bigger warehouses were allowed to click and collect, that you would order online. And this is the thing, that the online buying structure in New Zealand wasn't really brilliant from most of the shops. So
but it changed in about
changed.
2 to 4 weeks.
Yeah, so here's the thing, that suddenly something that they didn't work out for months and years.
And yes.
Within a few months, they suddenly worked it out.
It happened in a few weeks.
Yeah.
That was great.
Interesting, hey? So this is, again, where I say COVID is an accelerator. So also on that case. So yeah, really fun. It was interesting.
Yeah. And in level 3, we could travel regionally.
Yeah.
So here in the Bay of Plenty or in whole Auckland, for example. So you could drive from north to south.
Yeah.
For example.
And just 2.5 weeks later, on the 13th of May, we went down to level 2, which disease is contained, risk of community transmission is still there. So you could, coffee shops and restaurants could open again, and shops could open again.
But with distance rules, and
distance
things
rules
like that. And monitoring. So the COVID app, for example, New Zealand, we use a COVID app.
Yeah.
And it's downloaded over 2 million times now. So it's
with 5 million people.
With 5 million people,
it's not too bad.
Compared to Germany, where next to nobody has a COVID app on his phone.
Yes, and so which means we then had level 1 with 102 days of no new community cases. Of course, we had cases coming in on the border in quarantine, but they were quarantined anyway, so that was okay. But 102 days of no community spread, and that was awesome.
Yeah, so we went into this level 1 in beginning of June.
Yes,
of June,
beginning of June, level 1. We were all happy, yay! 102 days, and then Auckland happened. So we had 4 new cases of community spread on the 12th of August. Which meant that on the same day, there was a press conference, and everybody was like, what can that be? Auckland went straight into level 3, which is like kind of a lockdown, but not as strict as the number 4.
A soft lockdown.
Soft lockdown, we call it. So with takeaway but home office, of course. And the rest of the country went into level 2, which means level 3 also means no congregations over 10 people, and the rest of the country, no congregations over 100 people, which of course meant that all of the theaters and the musical theaters who had prepared to go back to normal life, they had to stop their shows again, which was real pity because, so this is the thing.
Back to start.
Yeah, so we had, more or less, we're having 2 clusters in Auckland. The big one, which they're not quite sure. It came from a cool store worker place, but they're not sure. And a second one, the smaller one, which came from a church, which has congregated and more people than allowed. And that's just what happened. I don't want to judge. That's just what happened. Yeah. So at the moment, this Sunday, so Auckland is
cross fingers
crossed. So at the moment, Auckland is in 2.5-ish. Not yet 2, we're still in 2. Crossing our fingers, we hopefully tomorrow go back into level 1. Definitely the rest of the country.
That'll be great.
That would be absolutely awesome. So please keep your fingers crossed for us, all of us, that we're going back to level 1 tomorrow. That would be really good.
Yes.
That would be a success story. Yes.
But we will talk about it in our next video.
Exactly. We will tell you how it went, how the press conference tomorrow went. So, yes. So we're going to put the links in, and especially with the communication.
Yeah. I found a great, where is it? It's here.
Yes.
Here on the back side. Found a great web page with an article about the leadership of Ardern, and about comparison to other leaders like
Boris Johnson.
Yeah, that's the name. Like the UK guy, and so it's interesting. So you have few videos and explanations why this is better than the other one and things like that. So it's really, when you're interested in leadership and how leaders should behave in situations like coronavirus
crisis,
pandemic, or crisis in general, have a look. It's really good.
So we're going to put that in the notes, all the links that we've been talking about. where you find that alert level pamphlet, that article that Stefan was talking about 3 reasons why Jacinda Ardern's coronavirus response has been a masterclass in crisis leadership, and also the timeline. So I hope this was informative for you and you liked it, and not too dry. We're trying not to make it so dry. It's just like, oh my God.
The German thing.
Yeah, the German thing. So put that in the notes so you can read it. If you have any questions about it, just ask us. And we will come up with another video soon about how do you find actually those, what's going on, and about your sources.
That's my thing. How you find out the real proper news source? How can you analyze it? How can you compare different news sources, resources? What's good, what's bad? So yeah, I do some research in the next few days and give you heaps of information about it.
So I hope you liked this video. So if you liked it, then like it or support us, and
thumbs up, whatever.
Thumbs up, like our channel. I've been up the mountain, we've been up the mountain, so it seems to have caught a little bit of sun. Summer's coming.
Finally.
Yes, close to equinox, and
soon
coming. And next weekend is summer, this time, daylight saving, it's called. Yes. So like us if you liked what you saw, so that other people will find us too. Send us your questions if you have some, and I can see the shade is already coming up here. You see that?
Yeah.
Time to go.
Yeah. Let's have some dinner.
Let's have some dinner. You don't want to know what we have. Have a beautiful day. And
enjoy your Sunday.
Exactly. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.